everybody, it's Erica. I'm really excited today because I have a very special guest.
Hi everybody, my name is Anasteja. My pronouns are she, hers, and I'm a trans educator, advocate, and spokeswoman with over 20 years expertise, starting out from modeling, going into the beauty and fashion industry, to starting my own events company and working in transgender advocacy.
So I'm really, really glad to have you. And I'm especially glad to have you because you also have some Lush background. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. I've been working with the Lush family since 2014 and I love it.
So the reason that Anasteja is joining us today is because we're talking a little bit about beauty in transition. So what are some skincare and hair care needs for people who are in transition? I would love for you to just give a little more voice to that community and telling us a little more about what are some needs for the skin and for the hair that people in transition experience.
Absolutely. So I think that an important thing to remember about the trans community as a whole is that each person holds their own unique experience. Every unique individual will have their own perspective and their own wants and needs in their transition, and everybody's end goal will be completely different. So keeping that in mind, some people's transition might be a medical one, some people's might be more of a holistic one. Some people might choose to go on more of a mental journey, and some people might choose to go on more of a physical journey. It's really up to the individual. And basically what I'm hoping is that this will be able to be informative and link ingredients that people can actually look for in helping the symptoms of going through a medical transition or symptoms of dysphoria as a whole. Some common things that we begin to face in transition are things like acne, hormonal influx, change of pH balance in the skin, hair thinning, melanin loss. All of these things are highly attributed to sensitive skin, sensitive hair, and taking care of it is really important. So to be able to arm the transgender community in a way to be able to help themselves, in a way to make life a little bit more comfortable, is the greatest gift I think that we could all share.
And speaking of knowing how much it is important to Lush to focus on ingredients and their benefits, do you want to tell us more about your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Purposeful ingredients is a very important aspect. If you think about everything that we do in life, whether it's the people that we surround ourselves with, to the passions that we choose to invoke, we all make those strategic choices because they have purpose and value to our lives. So being able to have a firmer understanding of ingredients and agriculture and what that can actually do for us, the greater economy, the world, and each other, and our own skin and bodies could have a really powerful effect. Always prescribing ourselves to having to look always towards science can be a little bit daunting for the average person. So to be able to bridge nature and science together and focus on what an ingredient does, its beautiful aspect, and what it does on a chemistry level, and how it can benefit you as a human being in general, I think is a really beautiful way of showing how powerful an individual can be.
I love this. I love this holistic idea of not only using the ingredients to do good on your skin or your hair, but to feel good about the ingredients that you're using and to integrate that into how you feel about what you're putting out and what you're getting into the world. This is even deeper than I expected this to go. So I'm really happy with that. So speaking of holistic, you had picked out a few ingredients and a few products that you wanted to highlight and share. So I can see some of them behind you there. So the first part that we're going to talk about is the face. You want to tell us a little bit about some of the products that you have going on for that?
Yes, so let's start off by talking about face care today. Everybody wants a serve face, and when you're in transition, it can mean our hormone levels are all over the place, a medical transition that is. And because of this, the pH balance in our skin, which usually rests naturally around 5.5, is completely out of whack. It's all over the place. Your estrogen and testosterone levels are spiking the pH levels in your skin, so it becomes very alkaline. And a lot of the things that you want to do for the skin is to help create balance in the skin. When the skin is alkaline, it's more receptive to sensitivity and damage, such as sun damage, and it's also more common to receiving water, which can also foster a lot of bacteria on the skin. So it's very important to make sure our pH balance is always staying intact, so that way our skin can be as clear and as fresh as possible. For me personally, I know that a big part of it is to promote a lot of immunity. When you're on hormones, it can lower your immunity. So catching a cold can happen a little bit easier than the average everyday person. So what you want to do is you want to promote something called lymphatic drainage. And how you can do that is just by giving yourself a facial massage. Personally, I love the Jade Roller. This one here is absolutely amazing. It smells super, super, super fresh. And the great thing about here is it has these little beans inside, and that's going to really help create a more stimulating environment that's soft enough to help create enough lymphatic drainage to help reduce puffiness in the skin and the face, while still not being sharp and abrasive and cutting into the skin.
Just that slight bit of texture, right?
Exactly. And this emollients and this butter kind of oil base is really good, especially because if you're a trans woman, you're going towards a more feminine lifestyle and you're typically wearing more makeup. This is a great way to double cleanse and get the makeup off, because those oils are going to really help break down any makeup that's on the surface of the skin. And this is something that's really important for anybody who's starting to wear makeup to really understand. Not only that, this has really great astringent properties with hazelnut and peppermint, which is going to be really good at toning the skin as well as giving that refresh of the skin.
So this one, just speaking of lymphatic drainage, is also like once you get those oils onto the skin, just doing that bit of facial massage and kind of like getting, moving backwards here and moving all of that drainage back this way is really going to help to keep the toxins flowing out and fresh, healthy blood moving in to encourage healthy cell growth.
Exactly. You always want to start from the center of your face and move outwards. So start from the nose and work your way away from the nose. I know a lot of people say to go up, but you always want to go away from the center of the face. Okay? It's just going to really help create promotion of collagen and elasticity in the skin as well, which we all are always looking for, right? So now that we've already gone ahead and we've given ourselves a little bit of a massage, our skin's feeling a little bit more refreshed and it's ready, we need to go ahead and use a toner now. Toner is this very huge question mark. A lot of people don't know whether or not they need to use it. Do you need to use a toner? The answer is you don't need to use a toner. Is it good to use a toner? It is great to use a toner. Why? Toners are really great waters and elixirs that are going to help create more of a balance in the skin with the pH. Not only is it going to reset the skin's pH, it's also going to create a really good environment to help any of your next products become received into the skin. It'll be pulled down into the deeper layers. So I personally like to use Aroma. Now, Aroma is using a lot of rose. Rose is essential when it comes to scarring in the skin. This typically will happen a lot with transgender folk because of the fact that they'll typically get a lot of acne breakouts. Again, the pH balance is very different on the skin for a transgendered person. So to be able to use something like rose water will help calm any irritation from shaving or makeup or daily exposure to pollution and sun. The rose is also really good for anti-redness as well. So if redness is something that you battle with, it's fantastic. Another really good tip about Aroma water as well is that because it's not going to disturb your pH balance, you can use this throughout the day and it's a really good refresher. And the rose ingredient is going to be a nice way to help cool down hot flashes if you're experiencing that during your medical transition.
Maybe a little on the back of the neck or something like that.
Exactly. This stuff is fantastic for that. I suffer from hot flashes a lot and this is the biggest saver for me.
Yeah, so maybe even like if you're at home, like keep a little one like that in the fridge or something like that for like extra cooling power.
100%. 100%. I always have my friends borrowing it. I'm like, you guys just need to go get your own.
Buy your own.
But yeah, and once you have the toner applied with your cleanser, what ends up happening is your skin starts to create a chemical reaction. And it's basically creating these little pockets of vessels. And those vessels are carriers. And it's going to be able to take any of your serums and moisturizers that you use afterwards. And it's going to use them to pull them deeper into the surface of the skin so that your skin really sees the benefits of those ingredients that you're using.
That's great.
Yeah. Moving on, once you've gone ahead and toned your skin, you want to go ahead and seal all of that. Your pH balance is great. You're fostering a new environment for healthy bacteria to grow. So you want to go ahead and seal that skin and make sure it is soft and nurtured. And so I like to go in with a really good moisturizer. This one's called Skin Drink. Now, Skin Drink is a really great combination of avocado oil. It's also got rose petal and aloe vera. And now the important thing about this, as you've seen with the last product, is the rose ingredient. It's very soothing. And now we're coupling it with aloe vera, which is going to be even more soothing for the skin. So for those of you who are suffering from a lot of heavy irritation, maybe from everyday shaving, or heavy cystic acne, this will be a really great way of helping to make sure that your skin is soothed and adequately moisturized enough to make sure that your skin stays fresh all day without breaking or causing any more breakouts. I know a lot of people with oily skin might be afraid to use something that is oil-based, but you always want to make sure that you're just using the right type of oils. Avocado is something that's very light and it's oil-based, so its fat is really easily absorbed into the skin. So it doesn't necessarily matter that you're using an oil on the skin, it's more so what type of oil are you using.
Yeah. And then paired with that toner too, like if you feel Skin Drink on its own, it is like it's got sesame oil in it, which is quite rich. And it might feel like if you just felt it on your skin without that bit of toner, it might be like, this feels like a bit too much. But with that little spray of toner on there, you can use a little less and it just disperses so well. So it's got 3 times more rose than any of our other moisturizers. So extra, extra soothing and good for irritated skin.
That luxurious life, right? I love it. And when it comes to treating the skin and taking care of your skin, it is important that we make sure that you're following a daily routine. It's not necessarily just about the aspect of taking care of your skin, as well as it is the holistic approach of giving yourself time to connect with yourself. It's a very scary topic for a lot of trans people because we all have different points of view when it comes to looking at our own image in the mirror. But really allowing this moment to connect with yourself on a physical and spiritual level will really help to kind of help you work through the mental state of transition a little bit easier. It's giving you time to think and it's giving you time to be in yourself. And then it also gives you opportunity to discover more things that you like. A lot of people also think that skincare has to break the bank, and it absolutely doesn't. Having a mask doesn't have to go and cost you $50. A great example of that would be a cup of coffee. This is my absolute favorite mask of all time. There is no other mask that stands to this, and I will say that till the day I die.
Okay.
I love this stuff. This stuff is the kick in the butt that you need every morning. It's got the agave syrup in there. It's got the coffee grounds in there. And what that is doing is it's really providing a really great exfoliation for the skin. You also have agave syrup, which is extremely humectant, and it's going to draw all that moisture into the skin to really help continue to protect it. Super, super, super important. And then also the kaolin clay in here is a really good oil absorber on the skin. So by using this at least once a week, you're going to be able to make sure everything's nice and fresh and clean. And it smells so good. So good.
And you can use that on the body as well, right?
Not just the
Absolutely.
face.
Personally, I love using this stuff on my body, especially on the bikini area. I suffer from a lot of irritation from shaving, being POC and also having some skin sensitivity from transition. It's a battle, and not everybody can afford to go and get laser and have the problem be done with. So this is a really good way of treating things like razor bumps and razor burn. Obviously, please don't apply this directly to a freshly shaven area. Do this before or the day after to allow your skin time to repair. But otherwise, this is a really good remedy to making sure that your skin stays super soft, super clear.
Yeah, so like before to get a nice close shave, and then a couple of days after to prevent ingrown hairs from starting to grow back, right?
Exactly. Allow the skin to release the hair follicles, go in, do your shaving, give it a couple of days to repair itself, and then come back in and use it again to help ease any irritation in that time frame.
Awesome.
And speaking of shaving, I know that there's a lot of people who are going to be experiencing new facial hair. Maybe you have existing facial hair that you have to take care of every day. There are still products out there that are going to be very soothing and very, very good for you to help take care of your skin. Now, if you are a trans woman and you have to shave your face every day, a really good option for you is something called dirty shaving cream. This stuff is absolutely brilliant. It's got a huge amount of oat milk in here. I love oat milk. It's my favorite milk of all. Just not biased at all. But this is really good because it's soothing, and oat is a really good protein base that helps create a barrier for the skin to repair itself while you're shaving. Shaving and using blades on the skin can tear apart the skin surface, especially if you have to do more than one pass over the skin. So by using something like an oat protein, or oat milk in this case, you're able to actually create a barrier that really helps soothe the skin. Then once you rinse off the actual oat protein, it actually is able to absorb into the skin a little bit, so it can still continue that healing process even after you washed it off. So this is a fantastic shaving cream. It's also not going to clog your pores. So if you're a trans man, you're just getting facial hair, this is going to be a really great way to not clog your pores while you're shaving. So that way you're not causing any more acne breakouts or cystic acne while you're in transition. So love this product.
Yeah, it's nice and light.
Yeah, super nice.
And so much better than using just like bar soap or something like that to shave with, because you're going to get like the creamy, nurturing, soothing effect with it and not drying out the skin with the bar soap.
Totally. If you think about using a bar of soap on the skin to shave with, what you're doing is you're completely drying out the skin and you're making the skin surface very brittle. So when you run a razor over that, you're more easily going to be able to tear into the skin. You're going to get a lot more razor burn and a lot more negative effects from shaving by using bar soap or an SLS soap base on the face. By trying to use something that's a little bit more conditioning and has a smaller amount of SLS or any type of activating lathering agent in it, you're going to be able to create a really good canvas and conditioning agent to help protect the skin.
As you're shaving, yep, great.
I have one more thing for the face, and that's Kalamazoo. Yes, Kalamazoo is fantastic. Now, if you are just getting facial hair or you've been experiencing facial hair for a while, sometimes it can be really abrasive and it's hard to shave when it's a lot more abrasive because those hairs bounce back. So to help soften them, you could use something like Kalamazoo. Kalamazoo is a really great way of softening all those hairs in the follicles. So that way it's not only soft, it makes it like butter when you're shaving afterwards. So it's a fantastic face and beard wash. And if you are male, female, or anywhere in between, this is a fantastic recommendation. Don't be turned off by the fact that it says beard wash. I promise you it is a staple in everybody's arsenal.
Agreed. Okay, so that was a lot of really great stuff for the face. Now, if we go below the neck, what do we have to talk about there?
Well, first of all, everybody is a hottie, all right? Let's start off by prefacing this. All bodies are beautiful. Let's be real. When you're going through puberty, and transition is quite literally another puberty, it leads to sweat. Puberty equals sweat, which can equal odors, it can equal bacteria, it can equal rashes and scarring. I mean, come on. We've all been there, the chafing, the uncomfortable rubbing. It happens all over the place. It happens to everyone. And because of our pH balance in the skin also being out of whack, our skin is still alkaline and it's disrupted and it's creating a lot more issues than we normally would have in terms of sweat and bacteria. So what you really want to look for are things that are really going to help keep the body fresh and clean. Beyond this, there are different changes that happen to the body. The body's changing physically if you're on a medical transition. Maybe you have gender affirming surgeries and, to carry forth your transition. And, your body is changing bone structure. It's changing cartilage structure. It's changing fat distribution. It's literally going through it. And maybe it's not the most dramatic, huge change that everybody thinks of when you go through puberty, but it's still enough to put the body through a lot of damage and a lot of hard work. And so we need to make sure that we appreciate what our bodies are going through, especially through transition. I know we have a hard time sometimes being in our own dysphoria, that we don't necessarily appreciate what our body is doing and how it's getting us to our goals.
How hard it's working, yeah.
Exactly. So we need to make sure that we pay proper respect to ourselves, not just our bodies, but ourselves, and making sure that we take care of the vessel in our transition to make sure that we get the results that we want to. Something that I really enjoy is starting off with something like Nana shower gel. Nana is probably my favorite shower gel of all time. It's filled with lots of lovely bananas, and bananas are really rich in potassium and zinc. When we're in transition, our skin naturally gets thinner and our melanin becomes less in its production amount. So therefore, we have to start protecting our skin from the pollution and the sun that we're exposed to on a daily basis. Not to mention, with our skin and our bodies changing, we can develop calluses and hardened skin. So in order to keep the skin soft, it's really important to break that down. And bananas is definitely the way to get there. Not only does it smell so good, it's literally like smelling a banana cream pie. Oh, so good. The vanilla in here is also fantastic, I have to say. But it is a dream to wash yourself with, and you will notice the difference immediately upon using this. Now, you can go ahead and you can exfoliate the skin on your body a little bit more than on your face. It's a little bit more resistant than your face will be typically. And so you can use a little bit of a different type of abrasion, things like sea salt or sand. Things that are still going to be soft and not cutting into the skin or causing micro tears, but still things that are going to be really great at being a greater exfoliant and a more rough exfoliant. Something that I absolutely love is magic crystals. This is really, really, really fresh. If you love peppermint, spearmint, all that magic goodness, this is a really great way to just feel refreshed. Not only that, it's going to have a natural ability to help soothe any hot flashes if you have any because of that peppermint oil. You're also
get a nice cool shower.
Exactly. If you're too hot in the summer and you need to cool down, or you're having a hot flash, such a great way to introduce this into your shower routine. And also, there is some Epsom salt in here as well, which is going to be a natural good relief for achy muscles. Because your body is going through puberty again, those muscles are going through a huge workout, even though you might not be going to the gym every day. So you really need to make sure you're relaxing those muscles to make sure they're being soothed and treated so that way they can form and develop. They're going to develop with ease. They're not going to give you a rough time, and it will really definitely soothe the achy symptoms of everyday transition.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's honestly fantastic. And I mean, two, you can use this on your feet, a really, really great way for tired feet, especially if you're new to heels. I'm telling you, this is fantastic for that.
I love a good scrub too, like under the arms where bacteria does tend to develop, or like dead skin will kind of stay in there with moisture and stuff. And that's just a really good way to get like super fresh surface and kind of like reset for the day.
Exactly. And so once you've gone ahead and done your scrub, your skin is now going to be not only feeling fresh and soft, it's also going to be more receptible to moisture. So you're going to want to go ahead and seal everything that you just did with a moisturizer. Now, going back to this key ingredient that we keep bringing back up, it's bananas. We're going to show you sympathy for the skin. Sympathy for the skin, again, is made with bananas. It smells like an ice cream shop. It's like walking down a boardwalk on the beach. It's fantastic. Now, last thing that you really want to note in transition is body odor and sweat. We're accumulating a lot more moisture on the skin. And I just told you guys that you need to make sure that you're not retaining too much moisture on the skin, and yet all of the products that I just showed you are quite moisturizing, right? So you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? You know, I want you guys to think about our grandparents back in the day using baby powder all the time religiously. It was kind of this thing that was part of a different generation that's kind of not been as mainstream in popularity, but it's dusting powder. Lush has a huge, beautiful line of dusting powders, and my favorite one has got to be Silky Underwear. It smells so beautiful, and it smells very neutral as well. It's very soft and it's very uplifting. The great thing about this powder as well is that you do not need a lot. Once you finish doing your moisturizer, you can sprinkle a little bit on your hands and place this in the areas where you know you accumulate the most sweat and you know you build a lot of bacteria. For me, that could be in between the thighs, it can be the armpits, it can be the lower back, places like that where you know you're going to be more susceptible to sweating. You just pour a little bit of this in your hand. It will leave the skin feeling very, very soft. The cornstarch ingredient here is super absorbent, so it's going to latch onto any of those sweat and bacteria molecules like a magnet and really make sure that they are pulled away from the skin. But not to worry, because there is a butter ingredient in here which is going to leave the skin feeling really nice and soft without feeling dry or flaky. So really, really great way to kind of help balance the moisture with also staying dry and not creating water on the skin.
It's like a really nice like slip.
Yes, it's like a velvety touch, super silky and lovely. Hence the
one of my favorite products. Okay, well that's a little bit from Anasteja about skincare for your face and for the body. We do have another video coming up that's going to get into hair care and then some extra little things too. So stick around and watch that one as well. See ya.